He was able to dehumanize people during the election, whether it was trans folk or whether it was the immigrant. He dehumanized. And if you study anything about the Nazis, that is where it all starts, is the dehumanization. And none of us should be sitting by, even if we're not trans, even if we're not an immigrant. You have to understand that the dehumanization will come in for black folk. It will come in for women. It will come in for everyone. And that is why we unfortunately got here. But if we recognize where we went wrong, hopefully we can get back on track and recognize that our strength lies in our unity, because there's so many more of us than there are of them, this hateful, venomous regime that we're living under right now.
So you still haven't made a decision? Because that's, to me, that sounds like someone who is like this close.
I am closer to yes than I am no. I will tell you that. But regardless of what people think, strategy matters. And execution matters. And there are a lot of people that don't believe in Texas. And so for me, if I am going to tell people that they need to believe in Texas, I need to not only have numbers on a piece of paper, I need to be able to tell them this is exactly how we're going to get there.
US President Donald Trump is threatening to permanently pause migration from what he calls all third world countries, following the shooting of 2 young National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C. 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom was killed. 24-year-old Andrew Wolf is currently in critical condition. US correspondent David Blevins breaks down the political repercussions of the attack.
This has become both a political matter and a judicial one. In terms of the judicial process, the DC Attorney General, Jeanine Pirro, who's investigating the shooting on Wednesday, has confirmed that the suspect is being charged with first-degree murder. She was very critical of the Democrats in her comments, as indeed was her boss, Donald Trump, in a post to mark Thanksgiving. He used many of the 270 words to condemn the Democrats before announcing a pause on immigration from 19 different countries. Now, there are many people who support Donald Trump who will say that this is exactly the sort of decisive action they want to see him taking, but many others will be concerned that it's a knee-jerk reaction to the fact that the suspect in this case is from Afghanistan. And that, more than anything else, is why this has become so politicized so quickly, with Republicans pointing out that he entered the United States under Joe Biden's watch, Democrats pointing out that the suspect was granted asylum this year under President Trump's watch. That explains really why this has become such a political matter. We know President Trump is a man under pressure at home over various things, the Epstein files, the cost of living, a lot of talk about affordability this Thanksgiving holiday. The one thing he wants to be seen to deliver on is his campaign pledge in relation to immigration.
Let's turn our attention to Donald Trump. He's now come out today on Truth Social, so it was late at night. He's down at Mar-a-Lago. I think he's been playing golf today. We had the tragic death of one of the two National Guards people. It was a woman outside in Washington who was gunned down. He's announced a migration from third world countries completely now. He's going to stop it dead. How's he going to do this? I mean, I'm not quite sure. What's the definition of a third world country, and how's he actually going to stop this?
Yeah, I mean, you raised one point. I mean, look, let's say some people will scream racism straight away. Some people will say it's a knee-jerk reaction to a tragic incident, as you said. But there is this, definition of what is a third world country, and also what exactly is a permanent pause. But On the other hand, he's like him or loathe him. I keep saying this. He's not prepared to take a bold and courageous decision. He's cut, illegal immigration into the US really down to near zero. And I think, look, one of the main roles of a leader is to secure borders and the safety on the streets. And he's shown he's not prepared to sort of cushion that in any way.
Adrian, the first thing I thought of when it turned out that the gunman was out of Afghanistan, came there after the collapse of Kabul and the chaotic American withdrawal, I just couldn't help myself going back to that vision of those aircraft taking off from the Bagram Air Base with people hanging off the wings. The Americans under Biden and the way that they conducted themselves getting out of Afghanistan was a complete and utter disaster, and some of that's now come back to haunt them.
Yeah, it has, Steve. I mean, it was a embarrassment. I mean, reminiscence of Saigon 1973. But look, it's unfortunate for Afghanis. I've been there quite a few times, by the way. But the stats show themselves in the UK that the number of sexual crimes by Afghanis, by Somalians, Eritreans is 10 times what they are for other nations. So we have got a problem. And I know some people will say, well, what about the human rights of these people? As I said just now, that the human rights, the rights of citizens of any country, has to come paramount before you start looking at the rights of those from the so-called third world coming to our shores illegally or legally.
And you are having a very spirited debate, largely driven by Nigel Farage in the UK, about who does come as a migrant. I mean, on one hand, you've got a problem of illegal immigration and people flooding across the channel who shouldn't be allowed in. But on the other hand, you're still bringing migrants in from some of those countries. And we want to have the same debate in this country, Adrian, but we all get shouted at and we're told we're racist because we go, well, are we bringing the right people in from the right places to fit in with our society? What's wrong with having that debate?
Yeah, look, there's many good reasons for sustainable immigration. I'm not anti-migration, nor are you. Sustainable, though, the right quality of people, what the country needs, but also for economic reasons, for society reasons, and for environment reasons. These are never sort of touched. We have got, 46,000 or so have come this year across the channel, if I got my figures right. We don't know where these people have come from. Now, that is just one of the arguments. But also our legal immigration, we've been running about nearly 1 million a year, the size of 2 big cities in the UK. You just cannot sustain that for public services, for society, environment, as I just said. It's got to be a sensible debate. Thankfully, the world is now debating. Politicians have ignored it for so long, but the pressure from people, and I'm sure it's the same in Australia as it is in the UK, they are needing to address the issue. So there's perhaps a positive in the negative atmosphere around this subject.